Position yourself to receive from God with Bishop David G. Evans teaching When Men Pray.
Have there been times when you have asked someone to pray for you and the prayer has not been answered? Because instead of praying for yourself, you waited until someone else that you thought had more power would pray for you. Prayer is something that you resort to immediately and not as a last resort. You need to learn how to pray preemptively. You need how to pray ahead of time. Don't always be praying in response. Pray proactively. Pray before it happens. Lord, cover my child. Lord, bless my day.
Develop your relationship with God with this dynamic teaching on CD or DVD when you write to us. Visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480.
It's now easier than ever to stay connected with David G. Evans and the Bethany Baptist Church family. Follow the ministry and rejoice in all that God is doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On Facebook, you'll be up to date on the latest happenings. You can watch our Sunday services on Facebook Live, 8 and 11 a.m. Eastern.
Here comes the power. Hallelujah.
Words of wisdom and encouragement can be found on Twitter, and you'll get up-to-the-minute sermon points as they happen in our weekly worship services. Follow us on Instagram and be blessed by the inspirational and special moments that are highlighted each week, and meet the people who are the heart of our ministry. And if it's video you want, subscribe to the Bethany Baptist Church channel on YouTube. See the celebrations, the special events, and the many, many people who are helping to transform lives one at a time. Stay connected with David G. Evans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and become a member of our broadcast family today.
What if you could make one decision to unleash everything great in your life? Would you do it? Would you say yes? Aren't you tired of your relationships, your health, and so much more suffering because you lack the truth you need to change? The life you desire is within your reach. You can achieve all the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve by simply learning the secrets that lead to real personal transformation. Change is hard, but not impossible. You just have to make one radical decision to get real. And there's no better authority on the real steps to change than David G. Evans.
Some men trust in chariots. Some men trust in horses. But we will trust in the Lord.
David G. Evans is leading the charge to bring you the power to change your life. He is committed to the mission of helping you transform and become a person of power, and it starts with his all-new system to change your situation. At the center collection is David Evans' groundbreaking training course. From ridiculous to radical to real, this means war. In this series, you will discover the steps to change. This series includes 2 powerful messages, each on winning the battle in your mind and cultivating a language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, from ridiculous to radical to real, and Weapon of Warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? We are back in the studio somewhat. Somewhat studio. We've been doing virtual online for some time as we got this new setup, and we've been busy running around doing stuff, so we had to do some things on virtual. But we're so glad that you guys can tune in today. As we're back in studio, we're taking your phone calls, of course, again, 866-743-8267. Again, 866-743-8267. You can give us a call. If you haven't done so, please share with somebody. Let them know that we are on today. Please share if you can, as we are in studio or in the sanctuary. There's actually a nice look on the computer. Looks pretty cool. A different setup. So we want to welcome you all today. Of course, Reverend Pastor Deacon, entrepreneur, corporate man, Reverend White is with us. Hey, man.
Good morning. How you doing today?
Good.
Doing all right?
Yes, sir. We are here today talking about some topics. 866-743-8267. Again, 866-743-8267. And I am on the computer, and Pastor White's on the computer too.
That's right.
And we're going to be looking at y'all comments in the comments section. So if you don't want to give us a call, just put it in the comments and we will talk about it. Are you a fan of The Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian.
Do you like Star Wars?
I like Star Wars, but I am not a Star Wars. I haven't followed Star Wars for years.
Okay.
But I've heard some great things about it.
You have to watch The Mandalorian. It's on. You have Disney Plus?
I have Disney. Yeah, of course, we got all that.
You have to watch The Mandalorian.
Is that good?
Yes.
I see Carl Weathers made a comeback.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in it. Yep, he's in it. I'm so excited about that. I ain't gonna talk about it. I'm still hyped about that last episode.
You're gonna watch it again, huh? How many times?
I watched it once.
Uh-huh.
And I watched it once, and then I went back and watched the ending of it.
Okay.
Because the ending of it was just.
Okay.
I felt like a little kid again. I was jumping up and down in the living room. Just it was wonderful. Anyway, we got some important topics to talk about.
Yes, we do.
So let's jump here. President-elect Joe Biden has won the election for the 700th time.
Yeah, it's official.
It's official. The Electoral College, which is the real vote.
Mm-hmm.
The real vote.
The real vote
is the thing that happened on Monday. One of the electors in Michigan wanted to
balance that 3 people in Wyoming would have more of a larger voice in the process than the 55 people in California. So there needs to be some balancing of that going forward.
Yeah, and I think that's why the way the Senate works was to having some sound issues. Hold on, I'll refresh your feed. If you're having sound issues or screen is freezing, refresh your feed. That might help. Let me put it in here.
Okay.
Refresh your feed. Okay. So I think that the reason why they had every state gets 2 senators, and then every state gets a certain amount of representatives based on population.
That's right.
I think that's somewhat of a fair balance.
Yeah.
And some people complain about that. Why did Wyoming or the Dakotas have 2 senators, and North Carolina only has 2? Well, that's the balance of power.
Yeah.
Or else New York and California are going to run.
They're going to run the world. Run the U.S. The U.S. And when they first started it, they wanted to put what was called a Virginia plan in place, where the Congress would actually fit into the Electoral College, and they would choose the votes. They said no.
Yeah.
Listen, we need a little separation. So now we're going to just choose folks that aren't necessarily part of the Congress. But I was reading up this week. It's interesting how they choose the folks for the Electoral College. There are some students that are in the Electoral College. There's some people that have represent the local party that are in the Electoral College. Ain't nobody that'll call me to be the Electoral College.
Right. Yep. I'll tell you this: Hillary Clinton looked so happy to cast her vote as an elector. She was reveling.
You knew where she was going to vote.
She was reveling in that whole entire thing. So, that's an interesting dynamic. But again, the whole premise of our government, the way it was set up, is supposed to evolve because there's no perfect government on earth.
That's right.
Human government, put it that way.
That's right.
There's no perfect human government. It's going to be downsized.
There's going to be flaws in it, right.
So they did their best to do checks and powers. And the crazy thing is the checks and powers grows, diminishes over the course of the year. Sometimes some presidents, they have more authority than others.
Right.
Some Congress have more
authority than others.
The ebbs and flows of history, it changes.
That's right.
But I tell you this, Congress is going to make sure that they always have somewhat more power than the president.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when Roosevelt won the election,
Some diversity of thought in Congress, and we don't have any because everybody is 70 plus.
yeah, literally.
But the big, the McConnell and
Absolutely.
nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that
Yeah.
being over 80, but we have to get some diversity of thought in there.
Some new blood in there.
Exactly.
Some new blood in there. There's an episode of The Crown that talks about that, but I ain't gonna.
You ain't gonna go there?
I ain't gonna. You watch that? You watch that show?
I don't watch The Crown either. No.
Doc, you gotta watch it. Woo, man, it's so good. But anyway, but you're right. I think that we need to have an evolution to fit current culture. Not an eradication, but just some modifications.
And like
to
you
help.
said last weekend, the Constitution or the bill, those can be amended. It's not like the Word of God.
Yeah.
Like you said last week, it's not like the Word of God. It's not going to change.
Yeah.
But those things can be amended because the times have changed.
Absolutely. And they need. And Thomas Jefferson said it needs to evolve. It needs to grow with the people. The needs they had in 1776 and it's not the same thing.
needs in 2020.
We got different stuff
Not
going
in the
on.
21st century, no.
Right. So, so Biden won the Electoral College. So it goes to Congress to certify
approve. Yeah,
it
certify
in
it.
January.
Right.
And then some of the Congress people are talking about they're not going to certify certain parts, but it's
crazy. It's over.
It's going to go through.
It's game over.
Yeah,
From what I've heard all week, it's game over.
Yeah. Did you see Mitch McConnell acknowledge that, we want to say the Electoral College got President-elect Biden, and of course Trump
Yeah.
got on McConnell and
Yeah.
just
It's crazy. It's crazy that folks don't feel like there's going to be any retribution for how they've conducted themselves through this process. And I know you wanted to talk about Barr. I think Barr did he kind of upheld his stance of the law in this situation, right? I mean, Barr was under President Bush, then he went in to be a corporate lawyer in the telecom, and he was really reluctant to come and work under President Trump. But then he did it, and he's 70 years old, so did he resign or was he pushed out? That's the question. He resigned. I read his letter of resignation, but did he resign or was he pushed out?
That's the thing that everybody's trying to figure out. Was it, you got to go because you disagreed with me?
Yeah.
Because I would say he had to go because he disagreed with him, because that's on par with the norm.
Right.
That this is what the norm is. He's been getting rid of folk who disagree with him, and now all of a sudden, he's done because he disagreed with the president.
Right.
And they just came out and said that the CIA said that Trump's campaign was never hacked.
Never had.
None of that stuff happened.
None of that happened.
Like they claimed.
I have to give the Attorney General a bit of credit because he knew about that whole Hunter Biden thing. Mm-hmm. He didn't do a James Comey because James Comey blew up Hillary Clinton.
He did.
He did. Barr could have came out back in April.
Yep.
And had an impact. He didn't want that to have an impact on the election. That to me shows at least some integrity to what he was called to do.
Absolutely. And that's the crazy thing. So Comey did that to Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm. End up losing his job and against Trump. But it's like, bruh, you you did all that because you're right. It blew it up.
It blew it up.
It was what, 3 or 4 days before
the election. First he said no, then he came back to and it was like less than a week before the election.
Yeah, that's right, because it came out like on Friday.
Right.
And the election was on Tuesday.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, and it was that close.
And that blew everything up.
And my thing is, this maybe I'm being too rational here. If something comes out about Hunter Biden, he's not running for president.
He's not running for president. No.
So whatever he did in his lifetime that could have been right or wrong has nothing to do with you got a grown son.
Yeah.
If your son decides to go do something crazy,
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it.
If I do something crazy, this is not what my daddy did.
Right.
My daddy got to suffer because I did something crazy.
Exactly. Right.
It happens all the time.
It does.
Bush didn't suffer. President Bush didn't suffer when his girls was acting crazy.
You're right, because they were partying in the White House.
Yeah, they were. You know, I think they're his. I've always, but you know, some people don't. But I think you know, he didn't suffer. So you know, it doesn't mean that because if Hunter Biden did do something wrong, doesn't have any indication on his father. Yeah. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Unless his father was part of it.
Yeah,
but we don't know anything.
We don't know. Wasn't a bad president as some people thought he was. I think the Iraq War in Afghanistan overrode everything else he did.
Yeah.
Because when you look back on it, he really wasn't a bad. Well, those are big factors.
Right.
The war was a big factor.
Yeah.
But a lot of Democrats were pro-war at the time with Iraq.
A lot of Democrats pro-war, but I know a lot of folks will disagree with my sentiment about Bush. I don't think he was a bad president. Now, certainly he handed President Obama a mess. Yeah. In terms of the war, in terms of the economy, but in terms of his, you know, what are we comparing it to? Yeah. In terms of his love of the country, and not narcissistic behavior that are current. You know, I think he cared about the country. Yeah. You know, I think he cared about the country.
I think it changed for me when I was in Dallas. I go to Dallas. Well, I'm not going this year.
You're not going this year. He said, I'm not going this year, y'all.
Somebody asked me, like, are you going to the seminar? No, I ain't going. No, I ain't getting on the plane. His library is in Dallas, of course, at SMU.
Yeah, that's right.
So I went to the library one day, and I said, yo, my respect for him went up. Because I started reading all the accomplishments of his presidency and da-da-da-da. And I was like, yo, they don't talk about all of this stuff that he did. And I think history's going to, you know, vindicate him in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I think history's going to vindicate a lot of presidents after his last 4 years.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Bill Barr's gone. We think he was removed. We both agree with that.
I agree.
He was removed. You know. There was no way around that.
Well, you know, Pastor Nick, we see this all the time. We see it in corporate America. We see it in church, where folks kind of just go away. Yeah. You know, they were meant to go away, but sometimes they just kind of go away, you know, without you know, having to scar them on the way out. Yeah. But I think he was removed after the Hunter Biden thing, and then the confirming the integrity of the election. I think that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we're not saying that President Bush was perfect, but I'm just saying if you go back, he made some mistakes.
And they all do.
But I think I'm not saying he was a great president.
No, neither am I.
But I think he wasn't as bad as people said he was, put it that way. So we got that. And give us a call at 866-743-8267. Again, 866-743-8267. Now, let me just throw my little gripes out here.
Okay.
Since we're throwing them out.
All right.
How in the world? You know what? We're going to go on a break. I'm going to throw this question out, then we're going to go on a break.
Okay.
Because we'll fix this buzz. How in the world does some of the people that deny this virus act like it wasn't that bad? Why in the world are they some of the first people
getting
to
that shot
get the vaccine?
Getting that shot in the arm, aren't they?
I'm just saying. After.
Kick them to the curb. I want to be wealthy, but I spend all my money. You were created and given a slave, a doulos, a servant called your mind. Your mind is out of order when it questions your command.
If you are ready for true transformation, Bishop David G. Evans would like to bless you with the New Mind, New Me 4-message DVD set. Order today, and you will also receive Bishop Evans' national best-selling book,
Where I tell it to go, it'll never go back. It's my mind. It's going to do what I...
Visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today. Be prepared to watch a new you.
Or not. Let me not say that. Some denied, some minimized.
Yeah.
They saw the reality, but they minimized it. And they're the first persons getting the vaccine.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Okay.
Disappointed, but not surprised, right? You knew that. We all knew that once the vaccine was here, that those folks would get the vaccine first. You know, and we'll talk about it though. Are they essential workers? Are they on the front lines? Are they handling food? Are they cleaning up hospitals after folks that have had the virus are in there?
Yeah.
Do they have the ability to be out of the public space where they have to be around other people? In most cases, yes, more than most. They have that separation, or can have that separation, but they don't want to have the separation. They won't be able to get in the mix and not wear a mask and be out there rah-rah, and, trying to get things straight in Georgia to be their way. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, if I'm a citizen of this country, I think the president and the people should get it first, because they're leading the country.
They should get it.
If God forbid, something happened to me, the country's gonna be fine. But if your whole leadership of your country,
start falling from the COVID,
it's gonna be a problem.
That's
So
you
got to do a whole election, getting people back in place and all that good stuff. But it's like now they're doing. McConnell got it on TV.
Pence got it on TV. Surgeon General Pelosi.
Did Trump get the vaccine?
I haven't seen him get it, but he probably got it. He probably had it back in the hospital.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
When he had the virus.
Now the vaccines, since it's new, they don't really know that, because you can get the vaccine and possibly get the virus. Is that possible?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like the flu. If you get the vaccine for the flu, you may get the flu, but you'll have very minimal.
Okay.
Minimal. What they call it, characteristics of the flu. But the vaccine is to prevent you from catching the full blown expert. But I would believe that the studies have shown that if you come in contact, there'll be very minimal impact to you.
Yeah, because I think I was reading about some of this, but I just think that it's that slice of middle America, but they're not giving. Well, if God takes me, it's because He wanted me to die of this. No, He didn't. Don't test God like that.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But it's just, I'm glad the vaccine is out.
It's out, and the second one is out now, so that's great. The second one is the Moderna. Moderna's only been around for 10 years, and they do a lot of. Everybody remembers the big biotech boom, with a lot of investment going into that space.
Yeah.
The great thing about theirs is it has the same efficacy rate that the Pfizer drug has, and that -60. It can be kept at -4, and then once it's thawed for 30 days. So the transporting of it will not be as onerous as the Pfizer drug, particularly as they try to get it into rural America, which is a slice of what you've been referencing. Is how do we get it there and make sure that it's still in the condition that it needs to be. So Moderna's going to have 6 million doses shipped next week and 20 million by the end of the month.
Good.
So it looks promising that early spring. I was thinking, most folks wouldn't get it till the end of the second quarter, end of June, July, but based on what they're saying, it feels like we're going to start seeing this pop up in the CVS's by late first quarter.
Oh, that's good.
So that's great. That's great.
And now I saw a black woman help create the vaccine. Was that for all of them or just for one of them?
That was the one that they were working at Pfizer.
Pfizer, okay.
That's Pfizer one.
Okay. Yeah. All right, that's good, man. So cool. So they got the vaccine out. California, LA.
My goodness.
Now I've heard some LA residents, California residents, were tired of this because they've been locked down longer than anybody.
Locked down
in the country. But the reason why is because look at LA, they have 0 beds available in hospitals now.
0. They said
0.
This morning I got that Joe Biden call.
Yeah, right.
No,
too much.
No, I'm good.
0, right?
But they had 0 beds, and they had like over 100 people waiting just to have a bed in the hospital.
Yes,
because they're full up.
Yeah, and I think one of the other places,
Chicago's bad too.
Chicago's bad. They show where different parts of California have like 10 beds available, 5, 19. I mean, they're sending people home because they don't need a ventilator, or they're just sending them home with oxygen.
Just home with oxygen.
They say the doctors and the nurses are crying because it's just too overwhelming.
And they're working like nonstop.
And it's to me, when people just take this, they don't take it seriously. It's a slap in the face to
all of those folks that are out there dealing with this every day and seeing people pass away and having to call home, call them and say, "Hey, I'm sorry to let you know." And that weighs heavy. Can you even imagine the The mental illness, not the mental strain, and the mental strain that then ends up being a physical strain by having to be there and see this. A lot of us, most of us, aren't there seeing this happen. Yeah. And they're seeing this happen day after day after day after day after day after night after night. Yep. That's got to weigh on you. Absolutely. It's got to weigh on you.
Well, the one you saw, we talked about it, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. The one doctor in New York, at its height, she committed suicide because it was it's unnatural seeing that much death.
And that there's nothing you can do. Yeah. You're in this business to help folks, and there's nothing you can do. It's got to be heart-wrenching.
Absolutely. I mean, if people that go to war have PTSD from seeing all that.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of that post this.
Yeah, I really think that there are going to be a significant group of people that are going to need therapy for PTSD after this pandemic is over.
The lingering.
Even regular people. The lingering effects of this whole, I made a joke, but I'm like, I am not eating birthday cake that somebody blew out the candles on for the rest of my life.
Hey, how can you? I don't like crowds. I never did like crowds. Now I really don't like no crowds. How can you? There's a certain level of hesitancy that's going to go when you say, even once a year from now, say a year from now, this thing is under control. Yep. You say, okay, well, do I get on a plane or do I buy or do I rent an RV and just ride?
It's true. It's true. I mean, and you literally have those thoughts now. Yeah. Because, again, we don't know the extent of the vaccine. Like you said last week, is it like the flu shot where you got the vaccine this year and then 2 years later you got to get another one? It's not like there's no, what are them science words about the test? Not a litmus test. Those.
The efficacy.
To see, there's no 10-year down the line to see.
Yeah, what the impact is going to be over the long term.
Yes.
Now, mostly with the vaccines, as we've talked, they do have a basis that they look at for the time period in which they can tell if it's effective. But again, whether it's because you had the virus and you have some lingering effects, we know people right here that have had the virus and the lingering effects is real. Or is it because you had the vaccine and maybe you had an allergic reaction? Yep. Not saying that it's not safe, but there are still and will be some unknowns until the time.
Absolutely.
And it takes time, but I think you're exactly right, Pastor Nick. The lingering effects, mentally, physically, from what folks, just think about folks who are alone.
Yep.
They don't really have family, they don't have friends. They've been by themselves since March. And we all know the idle mind is getting messed up.
There was somewhere where this article came out that some people who were, like you said, alone, majority of the times, they had heart attacks. I guess because of social creatures.
We're meant to be together.
We're meant to be together. So it's like, it's hard when it's, one person, like you said, one person in the house. You don't have that much family to go talk to or see. And it's just you.
Just you.
Versus you maybe live by yourself, but you got people around you.
You got people around you that you can engage with. I mean, there's some, plus it's the holiday season too. So there's a lot of mental stress and residual effect that's going to happen because of this.
The therapy industry is going up now. All the online therapy is going up.
Through the
roof. And I think some people, like you said, even when it's over, I mean, like the birthday cake, well, saying it just, but think about it. Like, how many germs did we eat of somebody else's?
Because they blew on that cake.
They blew on the cake, and we just ate it like it was nothing.
Every time my kids would blow the birthday cake out when they were young, they're big now. I said, don't spit on the cake. When you blow it out, don't spit on the cake.
And the little droplets just coming out. And you're like, now, forever, henceforth, now and forevermore. Birthday party and you blow the candles out, I am not touching that cake at all.
Now, somebody's going to come up with an idea just for you. They're going to have some type of plastic thing with the candle on top so they can blow. Matter of fact, I should do that.
Right.
With the candle on top so you can blow it out and then take the top off and cut the candle. Somebody's probably doing that right now.
Yeah. But you're right. Crowds and stuff. I'm going to get to it. Oh, yeah, I see it. Danny, we're coming right to you. Crowds and stuff. Yeah. That stuff is real. There's going to be some people that don't want to be around big crowds now.
That's right. That's right.
Even after this thing kind of dies down. Even after the thing is over. So we'll see what happens. All right. Danny from Fort Lauderdale. Danny. When you get a chance. Because we're not sure what's going on. Danny, give us a call back. and we'll get to you.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Danny, what's up?
Hey, how you doing? Blessed, and how you doing?
You're doing wonderful. Wonderful to hear. What's going on?
It's wonderful to hear you all. I just would like to wish the best of the holidays and praying for each and every one of you because you have blessed us so much, through the years and what have you. And it's another year that we're going into, and I know that it's been so difficult for you and the staff, but I just want to say thank you. And
we appreciate
really
it.
Appreciate you.
We appreciate it, Danny. Thank you, man. How's it going on down there in Florida?
Well, it's with the pandemic, what have you, has brought about certain situations, and I was listening to you all, what you were saying, and I think that we really should put the blame on this particular situation where it needs to be, because I've seen and observed as the situation has gotten progressively worse. I've seen people that were supposed to be responsible going to the golf course week after week and not putting any concern on the welfare of the people. And the count goes up. And the reason why, when I call, I try to get a perspective as to what the death rate is, because we don't get that here in Florida.
Yeah.
They will tell you percentages, but they never tell you how many casualties we have.
Yeah.
And it's bad. And then even though we have a vaccination, the main situation is that the general population, won't see anything until possibly May or April. So we're during that time span.
Yeah.
So,
Danny, did you see about? I meant to bring this up. I forgot. The lady that was doing data for Florida COVID, they raided her house.
Yes. That was. It's bad because of the fact that she was correct, absolutely correct as to what they were doing, and what I call the vice president to the vice president is taking on a situation where he doesn't even come to South Florida.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, he stays, in North Florida, and he would do certain things there, and then he went undercover where we didn't see him for weeks. And when they were issuing the vaccinations and what have you, he came for a brief period and did some things there, and then we never did hear from him. But he does not allow the mayors to do anything on their own. If they try to issue citations, he said that they're null and void, that they can't enforce it. Which is like if, let's say, a business establishment is open and they're not enforcing the mask wearing.
I wonder how many of them wish they would have voted for Gilliam.
Yeah.
Over this guy. Because the Super Bowl's in Florida this year, right?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And if you do a timeline, just think about this now. When did they know about the virus?
I think they knew before they said they know. They said February, but I think they knew before then.
If you trace it back, it was actually November of 19.
Yeah, they were in California. Yep, somebody in California had it.
They knew about it.
Yep.
But still, they let the Super Bowl go on. It was in February.
Yep.
And right after February, that's when we started having problems because everyone went home. People came from all over the United States.
That's true.
And all over the world. Right?
Yeah.
All over the world.
Yeah. I flew somewhere. I flew to Dallas. This is before COVID got bigger. When I flew to Dallas in February last year, I knew something was different. I saw people wearing masks at the airport that usually I'm like, something's different. It felt weird. It didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Because it was real small. You only heard a little bit about it. And you didn't think it was going to be a big issue.
Right.
You thought it was going to be like SARS or.
I thought it was, because I know I was in China in January, and I came back and the bishop said, "What's up with this corona?"
Right. So, but you're right. But the data, those that don't know, the lady that did data for Florida COVID, she started calling people and saying, "We got to start telling people the truth
about this thing." Right.
Telling the truth.
And they raided her house. They were just trying to get like documentation to see if she hid something at her house.
Well, I think was probably what they're trying to find. I think that she actually has evidence to prove what's going on, and I think that they're really trying to retrieve whatever information or data that they might think that she has, and I think they're trying to shut her down as to what's really going on, because I think that our governor has ideas of going to higher places.
Okay. He ain't going nowhere higher.
No, he done.
Sorry, Danny. Go ahead. Sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
But whatever he can do to elevate himself, that's messing up his plans.
Yeah. Because I can't see him going into any bigger office on his own. Put it that way. Unless he runs for like Senate or Congress in a certain district where he's popular.
Right next door.
You're right next door to Palm Beach.
Yes.
So
right. It's where the main court. We're like metropolitan area. Traffic is bad.
Okay.
So whenever he comes to town, whether it's Palm Beach, Broward, or Miami-Dade, traffic is horrendous as it is.
Yeah.
So everything is shut down, and then for him to have the special facilities, the borders are shut down, the seaways are shut down, and people are crazy about boating and what have you. They can't go out on their yachts, they can't go on the boats and what have you. It's a bad situation. So they're saying, look, we did this for 4 years, enough is enough.
Yeah, they got some legislation down there though. Well, he signed a deal back in 1993 that the resort couldn't be also used as a residence. So members can only stay 21 days a year, and they're not supposed to stay there more than 7 days. So he signed that when his business was floundering and the costs were rising. That's a deal he cut. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's able to get out of that, or who's going to prevail in this case.
Yeah, he's going to try to wiggle his way around it somehow.
From what I understand is that there's a lot of resistance to any of these things going on, and these different deals that have been cut, and it's crazy. You
think the governor's going to try to get in to help him move in?
I think that I know that's what he's trying to do.
Okay.
I know he's manipulated him to do different things, and he's pressured various mayors in different cities, and also the schools, pressured schools to get students back into schools and things like that. And we know that they should not be because of the rate that we have with the corona and what have you.
Yeah. Wow. All right, Danny, thank you, man. Appreciate you for calling.
And once again, we thank you all, and God bless you all.
Bless you, man.
God bless you.
Okay.
See you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Well, if he can't go to New York and he can't go to Florida, where's he going to go?
That's the thing, Unless he get a new residence, because but he's known to wiggle room around contracts to get his way.
I mean, he's a business. I mean, that's what he does. So we'll see how this. His business folks, his lawyers say there's no justification for him not being able to move there. But at least what I was reading, it said he signed a deal in '93
that he can't stay there longer than 7 days.
7 days and 21 days a year.
Yep.
But I think though, Pastor Nick, he's been there more than 21 days this year already, because he's there every weekend, isn't he? He's there every weekend.
Yeah, he's there every weekend.
So if it's 52 weeks in a year and he's there every weekend, that's 104 days.
I know, and that's the thing. It's like they made accommodations,
right?
Because he's the president. But they're trying to fight that it's not a residential place,
right? It's a resort.
It's a resort, and he did it to save it.
That's right.
So it's still in his name.
Still in his name.
But they had those restrictions. So I guess they worked out some money arrangement where he doesn't have to pay all the stuff or something.
Right, because if it by it being in his name and not being under his company, you remember back in '93 he was having some financial problems, so the costs were rising to keep the estate up. So he said, okay, well, I'll turn it into a resort, and then that way we can hide it, unfold it into my corporation, and they can absorb some of those costs. And now he's saying he wants to use it as a residence.
He should have allowed himself to have a permanent residency there, while the residents, rented out, and he has his own spot on the property. But I guess either they didn't like him then, or
well, he won Florida though, so.
Well, but
I know what you mean though. The people want to keep their standard of life, in terms of being able to move around like they've been accustomed to moving around.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens with that.
So the White House. See, this is my thing about leadership, right?
Oh my goodness.
The White House head of security
had
got COVID back in September.
Yes.
His
Creedy Bailey. Creedy Bailey is his name.
Yep. He had such severe conditions that they had to amputate
his foot and part of his leg.
And
he'd been in the hospital for 3 months.
3 months. And see, that's my thing. They were just, being willy-nilly, the virus was all over the White House. They had this mandate where if you wore a mask, they told you to take it off, and they act like it wasn't going to. To me, leadership cares about the lives of those that are under them.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a clear sign of bad leadership to me.
Yeah, and it's just so unfortunate because he was just there doing his job, right? He's not a politician. He's head of security.
Yep.
And he gets this disease. They even had to put together a fundraiser to help him meet his medical bills. That's kind of like sad too. Why aren't you going to take care of the medical
right,
bills?
Yeah, that's my thing. But again,
how they fared. You know, some of those things they keep quiet. I mean, just think about all the stuff we don't know. What we know is a lot less than what's happened.
Yep.
Is what I believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, some of the stuff we haven't heard about, but it's happened.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sure. And they talk about the residents at the White House, the people that work there. You know, they were all catching the virus and stuff. Again, it goes back to it. See, this to me, deception to me. How can I say this? A leader that can be deceptive, that has sense. If I can say it, like show something in public, but in private, will do something else.
Yeah.
So they'll do this whole no mask in public. But y'all better act like y'all got some sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This is just a willfully just gross negligence
of power.
Yeah, of just out of
humanity, which we talked about, you know, a couple weeks ago. And where's the overall compassion for people, you know, that's not being really shown by the leadership?
Yeah, it's not there. It's not there. And I'm hoping and praying that after, you know, Biden gets in, that things will start to settle somewhat. You know, with the whole virus, with I kind of want to go back to the boring of politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's where he wants to take us.
Yeah. Balanced, real calm. They're doing stuff like you said, but we don't know about it. Yeah. There's a certain measure of
you know, just like, you know, when you and Tiff deal with stuff that your kids don't know about. Lisa and I deal with stuff that our kids don't know about, and my parents deal with stuff that we didn't know about because that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, you take care of that doesn't mean you're not out there taking care of business.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're hiding anything, but there's some things you gotta you don't need other folks to be worrying about.
Absolutely.
You know, why do I have to worry about am I going to get why do folks have to worry about getting a stimulus? You know, why should they? You know, why? Or you have to worry about where's the stimulus? Folks need the stimulus.
Did you see one of the congressmen who, nice salary by the way, full benefits, paid for by us,
healthcare, everything,
said your stimulus is you getting a job.
See,
now, mind you, folks are losing their jobs.
The jobless claims went up again yesterday, Friday.
Yep. Somebody said $1,200 is too much to give to people.
Well, $300 is not enough.
They said $1,200 was too much because of the deficit. Oh, now y'all care about the deficit.
Yeah.
When it comes to helping people, the deficit is an issue. But when that military bill went through, last week, I think?
Yeah.
I think it was last week. There was no concern over no deficit then.
No. If it comes to shut down Congress, there's not going to be any concern about, you know, what needs to be written for that. And folks see that.
Yeah.
And that's what I think when you talk about a calmness, that folks will start to feel like, okay, we're being taken care of as part of there's supposed to be more of a separation between folks who can live and folks that just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, basic needs. You know, we've talked about people being hungry before the pandemic. There's no reason for anybody in this country to be hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But it just goes back to that lack of compassion. $600, that's not paying rent for
nobody. Unless
you're renting out a room in somebody else's house.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you're not getting no. You know, were you anywhere? Somebody did a map of the whole country where the medium income and also the median rent was nowhere near 600.
No.
And I just have a problem with how our government is set up. And my thing is like this. If we were able to tie the welfare of the people to the welfare of Congress and the president, I'm sure they'll bust their butt.
Things get done.
Oh yeah,
Things would get done real quick.
It would.
Things get done if they were held accountable.
Yep.
You know, if they were held accountable, no different than universities. You know, universities have no accountability to ensure you have ability to get a job once you get out.
Yep.
But yet they're charging ridiculous amounts of money to go to school for 4 years.
Absolutely.
But there's no accountability on the universities to ensure you have an opportunity. But they can charge you out. It's criminal.
It is. It is. I'm afraid.
I know.
Because you got one in college now, right?
Yeah.
Well, both of them are still in college.
Well, he's out. He just graduated, but she's in. So,
She's in. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
It's criminal.
It is.
You know, and everybody deserves to go to school, but you know, we're talking about the same thing with regard to the government. The government shouldn't be not making sure that everybody has basic essentials.
Right. Right. And this is why, you know, I was a big supporter of Bernie in 2016. I get that a lot of his policies would not have made it through, but I think what he did was he introduced a conversation that was needed.
It was needed, yeah.
That the country, people in this country, we call it the greatest country in the world, should not have to struggle like this. Just for the base, let's not talk about being super wealthy or, you know, having a mansion, but the basic stuff. Like, even if they just said, hey, y'all, we're going to work out something where community college is free, where maybe you pay back part of your community college by doing internships or serving somewhere else, where it's not just, you know, I give it all to you.
Yeah.
But there's some stipulations involved.
Right.
You maintain a 3.5, yours is free throughout.
Exactly.
You know, and he brought up a lot of stuff about workers' rights in those things. I think that part of what Bernie and OAC and them are bringing to the table is a conversation that needs to be heard. And I'm glad they kept pressing, and I'm glad they keep pressing.
And I think it'll be part of this next administration. What position you think he's going to get, Bernie? I don't
think he's going to get a position.
But I think that conversation that you're talking about with regard to student debt, student loans, has to continue.
Yeah.
It has to continue.
Yeah. If you forgave student loans, how much money would people have
to put back into the economy?
Right. But from what I learned, since the U.S. economy is a part of its foundation is student loans. They don't want to erase them because they make so much money from student loans.
Yeah,
that's how they are propping up.
Yeah, the interest.
That's how they're propping the country up.
Yeah, yeah.
So people are like, you know, he's going to cancel student loans.
No, I don't know if they're going to be canceling, but I think there's going to be some abatement. I trust of some level of what is still owed, because it's just folks can't. You know, you come out of school with $150,000-$200,000 worth of debt, $300,000 worth of debt, and then you can't even think about going to grad school. You can't think about going to med school or law school, because that's just going to be you're going to double that.
Yep.
You know, but by the time you get out, and then how do you start a career being $500,000-$600,000 in debt?
Yeah, literally. That's why some of the students here, we talked to them, they didn't have, you know, upper limit parents, you know, money wise. It's like, yo, I know you want to go away to school. Your parents can't afford it. Go to community college for the first couple years.
Yeah.
Knock out, save. I wish I would did this. I commuted to Temple. I didn't stay on campus, but I should have went to community college first. Did first 2 years there, saved a whole bunch of money I didn't have to get in loans, and then went away later.
Yeah, I tried that with our daughter, and she declined. She declined.
No, I mean, who's her father? You know what I mean?
She declined.
Yeah, she don't have the same problems as other kids do.
Well,
so.
I don't know about that, but she declined the offer that was made. But that is you go to community college for a couple years, you blow it out, because you are going to. You can get to any college you want to get into.
Absolutely.
Any college.
And most of them, like the community colleges around here, have upped their expectations.
That's right.
And what they're known for. So if you come out of Camden County College or something
Burlington
like that,
County College or Camden County College,
you came out of something legit.
You came out of something, and you'll learn.
Absolutely.
You know, and at the end of the day, folks, yes, there comes a certain amount of credibility based on the level of institution you go to, but hey, I went to a small black school. When I got out of school, I was in a room with folks from all over the world, all over the country, and I was a little anxious. But at the end of the day, I said, well, hold on. Chemistry is chemistry. As long as I learn chemistry, I should be all right. It's not chemistry at Yale is not different than chemistry at Morgan State.
Right. Yep.
You know, it's chemistry.
It's chemistry.
It's chemistry.
Yeah.
So as long as I learned it, it should be okay. Which lends itself to the fact that you can go to community college. You learn whatever it is, accounting, chemistry, biology.
Yeah.
You take that to whatever school you want to go to, and it minimizes the amount of debt that you have to be worried about coming out.
Absolutely. And then
your degree still comes from that institution.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's And I agree with that. Some people, they just want to just jump out and just, I get it. You want the college experience. You want to go away to school. You want to be away from your parents. You want to live. You want to have fun. You want to do all that stuff. But that debt after is over. It's like,
it's crippling.
It's something. And there are some people whose work that they have, like their doctors or their lawyers, not all of them, but some of them get good jobs after, and they're able to pay back their loans a little quicker than everybody else. I mean, their loan amount is almost like $1,500 or more a month. But if you're making $150,000-$200,000 a year, you can kind of pay that back.
You can pay that back, but
that's not everybody.
It doesn't happen for everybody. It doesn't, and it happens for too few.
Yeah,
the majority are not feeling that.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, you just mentioned doctor. Did you hear that controversy over Dr. Biden?
Yeah.
Was that crazy or what?
I mean, you know what? Very few times I agree with Trump on certain things, and when he goes into some of his news rants, 99% of the time, like, I'm not with you.
Right.
Those 1% of times.
Yeah.
Where the media, some people in the media, let me not label that. Some people in the media do stuff for salaciousness to get clicks and views. That's real.
That's real.
That's real.
That's real.
And they'll put the fake headline up there to get you to click on it.
Yeah.
And then you read and you're like, had nothing to do with what they said. They just wanted to click from you.
That's right.
So the whole Jill Biden thing about the guy
that is so
not acknowledging her as a doctor and stuff like that, first off, that's just completely chauvinistic, number one.
Yeah.
Completely misogynistic, number two. And then the other part of it is, this is the Wall Street Journal. I get it's an opinion piece.
Yeah. But it's still
the Wall Street Journal. Like, come on now. Come on. She worked hard to get it. She's a legit doctor.
She's legit. It's a doctorate of education. It's a doctorate.
Yeah.
That's what it is, a doctorate. You know, there's plenty of doctors that are not medical doctors.
Yeah.
You know, so it's legitimate. I thought that was a slap in the face, and like you just said, you know, there's plenty of folks that are in the administration today that are doctors, and they call them doctor, and they're not out there cutting open folks and giving them prescriptions and stuff like that.
I tell you this, she probably can run a Department of Education.
I bet you I vote for Jill Biden for
right.
Department of Education.
I bet you
particularly after this mess we had the last 4 years.
Because Betsy DeVos been going telling them make it hard for the administration, the new administration coming in, and what they showed was they were okay with big business and not the welfare of the students.
Not the welfare of the students. How could the welfare of the students?
Yep.
I mean, that's the future. We got to make sure they're educated, because guess what? They're going to be running things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just, it's unfortunate. It's almost time to get out of here, y'all. We got a few minutes left.
Can I say one thing that I was happy to see, that the Major League Baseball finally acknowledges the Negro League, and put them in the record books. Now, the unfortunate thing is that some of the record keeping wasn't such that it'll be like Josh Gibson, who hit 441 over 342 games. That's a big deal. That you know, a good hitter is 300. But that won't be in the record book. But I was happy to see. Yeah, my dad was a big baseball guy, so I was happy to see at least going to acknowledge him.
That's true. And Satchel Paige, his long one, and the guy, it might have been Gibson that had more home runs than Babe Ruth. And, like he said, it's just
finally acknowledgement. So I was happy to see that. So that's some good news that we ended the week with.
Yeah. So we had that. That was good news. That part was something else. The Cleveland Indians are changing.
Indians are changing their names. Let's see what's going to happen with Chicago, and there's another one too. Chicago,
the Chicago Blackhawks.
And then there's one other one. I forget what. But so far, Washington and Cleveland, and so we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll see what they change it to.
Yeah,
we'll see what they change it to.
I mean, it's some people are upset because that's what we always called them. It's what we're used to. But again,
it's okay to right wrongs.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if they would have had a team called the New Jersey Coloreds. Like, we all would be up in arms. Like,
I thought you were gonna say the New Jersey something else.
No, I was gonna say the New Jersey N-words or something like that. You know, we would all be up in arms.
We'd be up in arms. So it's the right thing.
So I think it's the right thing to do. And if some majority are, please make sure that you join us tomorrow at 8 a.m. service. Have our discussion with you all. So watch us all day tomorrow, all morning tomorrow, 8 a.m. service. We start as soon as 8 a.m. is over. We go right into our engaged live time until our 11 a.m. worship service. And of course, we're taking some breaks this month. So y'all getting like some, I don't know what they're going to play tomorrow night at 6. It's going to be a replay of something. Of course, we have Bible study coming up on this coming Wednesday.
That's right.
Then we're off on Thursday and Friday for Christmas Eve and Christmas. And then we're getting ready for our New Year's service on the 31st of this month. New Year's service beginning around, most likely around 10 p.m. Of course, we sow our first fruits that night. First fruits ready as we believe God for the new year.
Amen.
We do a fast for 3 days. So it's on, I think New Year's Eve is on a Thursday.
That's right.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We break it after midnight on New Year's Eve. So we're going to fast on that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're going to believe God. We're going to pray. And we're going to pray for relationship. This is the time where we believe that it's God's hour. It's for God's church. We're believing for corporate manifestation.
Amen.
We're believing for God to show up, do his thing, even in the midst of all of this stuff.
Right.
So we're going to celebrate that during the course of the new year and believe God that God's going to reveal his church.
He will.
If you read the plagues of Egypt, the Bible says that Israel experienced some of them, and the other ones God made a distinction. God showed the difference between his people and the people of the world. And we're believing God that hopefully, prayerfully, we're believing God in his mercy, he'll make some distinctions, not for us,
Amen,
but to show the world,
Amen,
these are my people.
That's right.
And you need to be a part of my people.
Be part of it.
You need to be a part of my people, a part of my church. God is raising his church up in a great way. We're going to see the church, the greatness of God working through his church that we've never seen before. And we're believing God for that. So thank you all for joining us today. God bless you. God keep you. Thank you, Pastor White. Appreciate
Thank you,
man.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Y'all Merry Christmas. Don't go in debt for Christmas.
No.
Be safe for Christmas, y'all.
Stay home.
Stay home. I bought my food. I'm staying home. God bless y'all.
Bless you.
See you later. Bye.